Many people sit in silence while fear, doubt, and discouragement choke the very breath of their purpose. They allow their circumstances to speak louder than their faith. And as a result, they surrender their future without even realizing it. Speaking truth, speaking faith, and speaking life is not an option. It is a matter of survival. Every victory begins with a word released in faith. Every miracle is born when the mouth agrees with the promises of God instead of the lies of the enemy. When you stay silent in the face of adversity, you give permission for defeat to settle in. But when you speak with authority, mountains move, chains break, and doors open. This is the shocking truth. If you refuse to speak, you choose to die on the inside. But if you release your words of faith, you step into the life you were created to live. There is a silence that strengthens and a silence that destroys. There are times when stillness is holy, when listening is needed, when waiting is required, but there is also a silence that suffocates destiny and robs a person of the future God intended. Dreams are fragile until they are spoken into the atmosphere. Vision remains hidden until words give it shape. A heart filled with potential, but a mouth closed in fear, is like a seed left locked away in a jar. It has the power to grow into something great, but without release, it withers unused. Too many carry a vision inside them, yet never dare to speak it aloud. They wait for the right moment, for the approval of others, for the certainty of success. But in that waiting, the flame dims and the opportunity passes by. The enemy of progress often works not by force, but by whispering, convincing you to keep quiet, persuading you that your words do not matter, that your dreams are too small, that no one will listen. But the truth is, every dream is fueled by confession. Every breakthrough begins with a declaration. What you refuse to say becomes what you refuse to see. Holding back words of faith is like standing at the edge of the promised land, yet refusing to take a step. You see the vision, you sense the calling, but silence keeps you trapped in the wilderness. Destiny is activated when courage meets confession. When you open your mouth in boldness and declare what God has placed in your heart, you are not only reminding yourself of who you are, but aligning your life with His power. There is authority in your words, authority to create, authority to command, authority to call things that are not as though they were. To remain silent is to hand over that authority to doubt and defeat. Many live years in frustration, not because they lack ability, not because they lack opportunity, but because they never gave their dream a voice. Silence allows fear to grow. Silence gives space for discouragement to multiply. Silence convinces the heart that the dream was never real. Yet one word of faith spoken with conviction can cut through the darkness like light piercing the night. One declaration made in the face of impossibility can open the door to miracles. The same voice that speaks defeat can speak victory. The same mouth that utters worry can release words of hope. The difference lies in whether you choose to stay quiet or to speak. The shocking truth is that holding back does not protect you. It slowly destroys you. Every time you silence the dream within, you bury a piece of your purpose. Every time you hold back your faith, you shrink the future you were meant to live. To guard your destiny, you must give it words. To protect your vision, you must release it in faith. To see your dreams come alive, you must dare to speak them forth. Even when the world tells you to stay silent, even when fear tells you to wait, even when doubt tries to strangle your voice. For silence may feel safe for a moment, but in the end, it kills the very dream you were created to fulfill. Your voice carries power beyond imagination. It is more than sound, it is authority, it is influence. It is the key to unlocking the doors God has prepared for you. Many walk through life unaware of the force they hold in their own mouth. They think their words are small, their voice insignificant, But the truth is, your voice is a weapon that can shape your reality, alter circumstances, and shift the trajectory of your life. Every thought becomes stronger when it is spoken. Every vision takes root when it is declared. And every promise comes alive when you give it voice. There is a world full of people who are fading because they refuse to speak. They hope silently, they dream quietly, and they pray softly, but in that quiet the enemy gains ground. Opportunity passes them by, doors remain closed, and the purpose for which they were created lingers unrealized. To remain silent is to surrender your authority. To hesitate in confession is to allow doubt to dominate. The voice is not just an organ for communication. It is a weapon designed to conquer, to claim, and to possess the promises that have been given to you. Speaking up requires courage, but it is the pathway to victory. Every situation that appears impossible responds to a voice that refuses to be silenced. Words release power. They are the force that moves mountains, calms storms, and opens what has been locked. When you speak faith, your voice calls forth what is already yours. When you declare life instead of despair, hope instead of fear, victory instead of defeat, you are stepping into the authority that God has placed within you. Silence allows the world to dictate your outcome. Speaking allows your destiny to dictate your world. Too many live under the illusion that keeping quiet will protect them. They believe that hiding their voice shields them from rejection, criticism, or failure, but silence is a slow erosion of potential. Every day spent not declaring your vision is a day that doubt strengthens its grip. Every fear that stops you from speaking steals the life you were meant to live. Conversely, when you raise your voice in boldness, you awaken the power within you, you summon angels to fight for you, and you create momentum that cannot be stopped. Your voice is a weapon forged to enforce victory, to break chains, and to carve paths through obstacles that seem insurmountable. The reality is simple. If you do not speak, you fade. If you do not declare, your dreams remain dormant. If you do not release words of faith, the enemy fills the void with defeat and despair. Speaking is not optional, it is survival. Speaking is not just for encouragement, it is for advancement. Speaking is not merely expression, it is engagement with the unseen forces of life. To wield your voice is to wield authority, to step into your purpose, and to secure the future that has been reserved for you. Every word you speak has the capacity to shape history, influence lives, and bring heaven into the earth, and failing to release it is the gravest risk you can take. Fear is a subtle force that creeps into the heart and paralyzes potential. It whispers lies, convinces the mind to doubt, and convinces the mouth to remain closed. When fear of expression takes hold, it does more than silence words, it stifles destiny. Dreams that were meant to soar become trapped in the prison of hesitation. Opportunities pass unnoticed, breakthroughs remain unclaimed, and the power that comes from speaking faith is left unused. The enemy knows that if he can stop you from expressing what God has placed within you, he can stop the fulfillment of your purpose. Many carry visions in their hearts, but allow fear to dictate their words. They worry about what others will think, about failure, about rejection, and in that worry, they lose sight of the power in their own voice. The mouth was not given to speak doubt, confusion, or fear. It was given to declare victory, to release life, and to enforce the promises written over your life. Every time fear shuts your mouth, it diminishes your authority. Every time hesitation restrains your words, it limits the manifestation of what God has already ordained. Fear of expression is not only a personal struggle, it has a ripple effect. When you fail to speak your purpose, others who depend on your voice remain in darkness. Your silence can prevent someone else from receiving encouragement, direction, or revelation. The unspoken word is like a seed never planted. the thought, the vision, the calling, all remain dormant until they are released through confession, declaration, and bold expression. Fear may appear protective, but it is actually destructive. It steals time, robs opportunities, and delays destiny. Breaking free from the fear of expression requires understanding that your words carry weight. They carry authority, they carry life, and they carry power to shift circumstances. Every word of faith spoken is a step toward unlocking the doors that have been closed. Every declaration of purpose is a push against the forces of limitation. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to speak despite it. When you choose to speak, even trembling, even uncertain, even imperfectly, you are stepping into the authority and the calling that has been entrusted to you. The truth is unmistakable. Fear of expression can silently kill destiny. It robs you of your dreams, it stunts growth, and it keeps blessings just out of reach. To walk in the fullness of your purpose, you must confront that fear, recognize it for what it is, and refuse to allow it to control your mouth. Speak what is in your heart. Declare what God has placed before you. Release your vision, your faith, your dreams, and your potential into the atmosphere. Every word you speak pushes back darkness, commands your destiny, and opens the door to miracles that were waiting for the moment you would rise and speak. There is a power in truth that cannot be contained. Words carry authority, and when truth is spoken, chains are broken, strongholds crumble, and freedom is released. Many live under burdens they were never meant to bear, carrying weight that suffocates their spirit, limits their potential, and delays their purpose. The chains that bind are often invisible: fear, lies, doubt, and deception. But they can be shattered when a person chooses to speak the truth. To remain silent is to remain captive, but to declare what is right, just and real is to step into the life of freedom that has been prepared. Truth spoken aloud brings alignment. It brings clarity to confusion, light to darkness, and order to chaos. It has the power to dispel deception and reveal reality. Every circumstance that appears impossible can be transformed when words of truth are released. Speaking truth is not always easy. It may provoke resistance, criticism, or even persecution, but it is the pathway to life. To conceal truth may seem safe in the moment, but it allows bondage to continue. Only when words align with reality, with faith, and with righteousness can the chains begin to fall. The human tongue is a mighty instrument. It can bless or curse, create or destroy, heal or harm. When truth is declared with courage, it acts as a weapon against the strongholds of the enemy. Lies lose their grip, fear loses its hold, and confusion is replaced by understanding. Speaking truth activates power that is already present but dormant, power that waits for confession to set it in motion. The voice becomes a conduit of divine authority, capable of dismantling obstacles that seem permanent and impossible to overcome. Many fail to realize that silence in the face of falsehood strengthens it. Every time a person allows a lie to go unchallenged, it gains foothold in their life, in relationships, and in opportunities. Every unspoken word of truth is a lost opportunity to release freedom. Speaking truth is not just about defending oneself. It is about setting the spirit free. It is about breaking cycles of oppression. It is about claiming the life that was promised. Chains can be spiritual, emotional, relational, or circumstantial, but all chains respond to the declaration of truth. The shocking reality is that truth spoken with authority saves lives. It frees hearts from despair. It awakens dreams that were dormant, and it brings power to fulfill purpose. Life responds to the words released. Silence allows captivity to persist, but speaking truth ignites transformation. Every time you choose to speak what is real, what is righteous, what is faithful, you step into a life that cannot be held down. Words are not merely expressions. They are instruments of liberation, keys to unlock destiny, and the pathway to a life of victory and purpose. There is a power in words that can change the course of your life. Every word you speak carries weight, carries authority, and carries the potential to create, shape, and transform. Many live muted, afraid to release their voice, not realizing that their words are the instruments through which destiny is activated. To rise is not merely to awaken, it is to recognize the authority within you and to use your voice to declare what must be seen, to release what must come to pass, and to step into the fullness of the life you were created to live. Roaring is the act of faith in motion, the declaration of power against every obstacle, the confession that your life is not controlled by circumstance, but by the promises written over you. When you speak with authority, you are aligning your spirit with the forces of creation. Words are not empty, they carry life and carry power. Dreams are birthed in the heart, but take shape in the mouth. Opportunities respond to declarations, and breakthroughs are unlocked by bold confession. Too often, people underestimate the force of their own voice. They allow fear, hesitation, or the opinion of others to silence them, and in that silence, potential dies. To rise and roar is to step out of limitation and into the authority that has been placed within you. It is to claim the promises, to enforce destiny, and to push back every obstacle standing in the way. Your words have the ability to build or destroy, to heal or harm, to inspire or discourage. Every time you speak faith, you are creating a pathway for power to flow into your life. Every time you declare purpose, you are activating the unseen forces that work on your behalf. Speaking is not merely expressing thought, it is releasing spiritual energy. It is commanding what is not as though it were, and it is engaging with the creative power that moves the universe. To remain silent is to leave your destiny dormant, but to speak boldly is to awaken the miracle, to ignite the vision, and to establish the influence you were meant to have. Life responds to words spoken in courage and conviction. The moment you rise and roar, you step into your authority, and circumstances begin to shift. The chains that once bound you begin to loosen. The doors that seemed closed begin to open, and the impossible begins to take shape before your eyes. Every word of faith spoken in alignment with purpose amplifies power, releases opportunity, and solidifies your place in the calling you were designed to fulfill. Roaring is not arrogance, it is the acknowledgement that your voice carries life, that your words carry influence, and that your confession has the capacity to change your world. The truth is that your voice is a weapon, your words are seeds, and your declarations are the keys to a life of victory. To rise is to awaken authority, to roar is to release it. When you speak with faith, clarity, and boldness, you are not only claiming your future, you are activating the forces that bring dreams to reality. Silence allows fear to dominate, but every word spoken in faith, every confession made with power, every declaration released with purpose transforms your life, enforces destiny, and establishes your influence in ways that cannot be undone. As we bring this message to a close, remember this: your words are more than sound. They are life, power, and authority. What you choose to speak has the ability to shape your future, to break chains, to open doors, and to bring to pass what has been written over your life. Every hesitation, every moment of silence is an opportunity lost, a delay in the fulfillment of your purpose. The shocking truth is that destiny does not wait for the timid. It responds to boldness, courage, and faith spoken aloud. You were created to rise, to roar, and to release the life that God has placed inside of you. Do not let fear keep you muted. Do not allow doubt to silence your declaration. Every word spoken in faith cuts through darkness, pushes back impossibility, and activates the unseen forces working for your success. Speak with courage, Speak with authority and speak with conviction. Declare your dreams, confess your victory, and release the promises that are already yours. Your voice is your weapon, your words are your tools, and your confession is the key to unlocking every blessing, every breakthrough, and every miracle that has been waiting for the moment you would rise and roar. Now is the time to step into your authority, to speak your faith, and to watch your life transformed. Speak boldly, speak consistently, and never underestimate the power that flows from your mouth. The life you desire, the destiny you were created for, is activated the moment you release it in words of faith and purpose.